time to speak. I'm Joy Taylor. I'm joined by Paul Pierce and Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn.
Oh, God.
It's a special edition.
Keyshawn. Man, Joy, go ahead and continue to read.
It's a special edition of his big list for us today. Key, what do you got?
You have no idea. I've been called Keyshawn, Kashoon, and everything else since then. But this big list is about the quarterbacks that's left in the divisional round of the playoffs. Typically, obviously, we do the rankings in terms of teams, but we're running out of teams. So my producers got real creative and decided to say, hey, let's make a big list with quarterbacks. So sitting at number 8, the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud. He led all quarterbacks in wild card weekend with passing yards of 282 yards. Finally got going with Nico Collins down the stretch there. As you can see, he sits at number 8. Number 7, play action pass. Jared Goff is what I call him. Second most passing yards in the regular season. They're putting up a lot of points despite the defense giving up a lot of points, but they've been able to win the number 1 seed. They host the Washington Commanders at home. Number 6, the only guy that's left that has won in the NFC a Super Bowl, and that's Matthew Stafford, has 6 straight playoff games with 2+ touchdowns. So he's putting the ball in the air as long as Puka and company are healthy. Number 5, this will probably kill Paul. He'll start his flesh with Paul a little bit. Jalen Hurts lead the league in most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback with 14 of them, and not Josh Allen. Number 4, Jaden Daniels became the first rookie to lead his team in passing and rushing in a playoff win. All the rookie quarterbacks in this, he's the first one to ever do it. As many rookies as have been around in the National Football League. That's pretty amazing. Number 3, Josh Allen, 1-0 in the playoffs against Lamar Jackson. 4th most total touchdowns this season. So there you go, Paul. You got a guy up there at number 3 in Josh Allen. Number 2, my guy, Lamar Jackson's tied for the most touchdowns this season. Lamar is 3-1 against Josh Allen in the regular season matchups. So he's taking advantage of the regular season. Let's see if he can take advantage of the postseason, like Patrick Mahomes does, sitting at number 1. Speaking of that, Patrick Mahomes has won 7 consecutive playoff games, has 10 straight playoff games or more in total touchdowns. The GOAT! Number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If y'all have a problem with any of these quarterbacks and the way they rank, please come on over and let me know.
Listen, you know what, Key, on the real? This is the best list you done had all year. Only thing I'll flip is these 2. Because out of respect, I got to give him respect for his title. That's it. This is the only 2 I split. You know how I feel about Jaden Daniels. Obviously, I think Lamar's probably the best player talent, but you can't put him over Patrick. And who knows who's going to get the MVP. This is your best list. It's solid, except for this right here.
Now, I don't know how this is a problem. I understand he won a Super Bowl.
Out of respect, out of respect.
I respect he won a Super Bowl, and he's the only guy in the NFC at the quarterback position who won a Super Bowl. I got that. He's been through a Super Bowl. Not only is he the best quarterback, he also, better than Matthew Stafford, he also has something to lean on in Saquon Barkley.
We're not talking about the team. We're not talking about the best team.
But it allows him to become a better quarterback.
Is this the team or the player?
It's the player, but I'm giving you the reason.
All right, life on the line, 2-minute drive. Matthew Stafford or Hurts. Life on the line.
On any team.
I'm going Jalen Hurts.
On any team, not just
I'm going Jalen Hurts.
Ooh,
life on the line, I'm going Jalen Hurts.
Over Stafford.
I'm life on the line.
Ooh,
I'm going life on the line, I'm going Jalen Hurts. That's what I'm doing.
That's what you're doing. You're going to be a dead man.
What's wrong with the list, Joy?
I agree with Paul. I think it's a really strong list. I probably also would put Stafford above Jalen right now. And I love Jalen. I think he's tremendous. But I think I would put Matthew above him. I know like we can't put everybody everywhere.
Right.
But I don't know what to do with Jared Goff.
I don't either.
I don't know that Jared Goff is getting enough credit. They have an incredible offense. They have the number 1 seed in the NFC.
And that's great. But are you putting him in the front of the guy that replaced him?
No.
Or are you putting him?
I think I might right now.
Oh, so you would put him in front of Matthew?
I might put him in front of him, though, in front of Hurts.
Let me ask you a question.
But what's the difference? He's been to a Super Bowl, too.
I understand that, but let me ask you a question. Why are you putting him in front of Hurts?
Because of what he's done.
What has he done? Nothing.
Him as a QB.
What has he done?
He's more efficient. He runs a more higher power offense. And if you give him his receivers, They won't even complaining about throw the ball. I bet you that.
He got receivers.
But if you gave him these,
He got Amon St. Brown as a king.
I love St. Brown. St. Brown.
Jamison Williams, when he's on the field, he's a king.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Now I think about it, this got to go back to you. I think you do got to move Jared Goff
over Jalen Hurts.
I think you have to move him to 5. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC. They have an excellent offense. They lost countless pieces on the defensive side of the ball and still managed to get home field.
And we talking about the quarterback of the team.
But Jared Goff
we talking about the quarterback of the team.
Jared Goff is leading that. He is the quarterback.
And that's the same way I feel about Jalen Hurts.
They won't be complaining about throwing the ball if he was there.
And they not complaining about it. You complaining and you complaining.
They wouldn't be reading no books on the sideline if he was throwing the ball. I bet you that.
All I'm going to say is when he throw for 300 against the Rams, and we're talking about this on Monday.
That's not going to happen.
But we're talking about
that's not going to happen.
It's Friday. We're talking about Friday.
I understand,
right now.
but I think this list is a perfect Keyshawn Johnson list, me personally, and I think many people out there that are watching this show believes the same thing, Joey.
Okay, well, I'm sure they'll let us know, as they always do. Let's start with the top quarterback, though, on your list, P. The Chiefs are looking to make history by winning 3 Super Bowls in a row. Their first playoff game will be as 8.5-point favorites against the Texans, and many people are very confident that the Chiefs will advance to their 8th AFC Championship. 8th, including our very own Paul Pierce. Let's listen to what he said earlier this week.
I'm telling the world right now, you can look me in my face. I'm looking right at the camera. Listen, I'm walking here on Monday. If the Chiefs lose to Houston, it's an 8-hour walk, and we're going to see what's up.
Actually, it's 9 hours.
No, that's 8. I walk fast.
Long legs.
That's going to hurt.
That's not going to hurt. You know how worried I am about this bet? This worried. This how worried I am. I'm going to be sitting at the game like this in the fourth quarter like, yep, all good.
Now that I don't know.
All good. Everything is good.
You're not going to sweat no matter how
No sweat. No sweat. I'm going to be sipping on something just like this.
Yeah,
no sweat.
I hope for your
no
sake
sweat.
That's true. Because it was in the 20s near the crib. It was in the 20s near the crib this morning.
It was in the 20s in Kansas City?
No, I'm talking about at the crib where you got to walk from.
Oh, I ain't worried about that. I'm going to be in the car.
How worried should Paul be about having to walk? What is it? Well, we're not going to get the exact
miles, but
it's far enough that it's going to take him. It's going to take him 8 to 9 hours.
And he got to go that 405 minute hill. That's Sepulveda. Oh man, through the tunnel.
I'm gonna be driving. What you mean?
I'm not worried about it for him, to be honest with you, because I don't think that the Houston Texans can go coming out of a dome into Kansas City.
What's the weather gonna be?
Cold.
It's going to be a little cold.
Okay.
It'll be
a little.
It'll be in the teens.
It'll be in
and
the teens.
then get colder.
And Texas plays in Texas?
In the dome.
Okay.
So I look at them playing them well in the first half of the game, but then Kansas City, second half, obviously getting it together and pulling away pretty convincingly. He should be fine.
Yeah,
but if you're not,
I'm good.
Man, I'll take that L.
I'm
to
good.
See you do it.
No, I'm good.
You're gonna walk backwards.
I'm good. I'm gonna be in the car, heat on, music blasting, sitting in traffic.
Listen, I too do not think that Paul has anything to worry about, because I think that the Chiefs are three-peating. So I certainly don't think that they're going to be staying home this weekend with a loss to the Texans at Arrowhead. He should sleep fine. Very low stress.
Real good.
Up until the game, because I do actually think the game is going to be close, because all of the games with Kansas City have been close this year for the most part, and that's if they play any at all like they played during the regular season, it's going to come down to the wire for you. So I don't know if your feet are going to be kicked up for the entirety of the game.
They've been resting all season.
Oh, okay. So they're going to gear up now?
Well, yeah, they're going to turn up.
I mean, I think they'll win. I don't know if you're not going to have a stress-free afternoon.
Joy, I'm going to be sipping spicy margaritas by the second quarter because we're going to be up so much.
The weather, I do think, is going to definitely play a factor. We have our resident weatherman, Joseph Keyshawn Johnson, here on set with us. But you talk about this a lot. And a dome team going to Kansas City, any team going to Kansas City to play is tough. Like, there's a reason why
Miami went in there last year, right? Yeah, how did that work out for that, you know?
If it's under 40, forget it being in the teens or potentially minus. They can't play when it's under 40. But any team going to Kansas City is hard. It's a very hostile environment. They are used to making it hostile for the away team, and they're comfortable and rested. Andy Reid is spectacular off of a bye. They've been there before. This is not new to them. This is going to be a huge task for the Texans, and I do think that the weather is going to play a big role.
And Kansas City has great fan base, like one of the most passionate fan bases in professional sports.
Yeah.
So you know you're going to see some guys out there with their shirts off, painted all up, and as a player,
when you see
that,
it's going to be a
you'll be like, man, this
I need to hurry up and get out of here.
Man, let's just
I
go.
need to hurry up and get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, and they get this, and the band get to playing and the loud noise, and you look over there, and it's a dude with a big old beard, with a big belly, with no shirt on, screaming and hollering. Oh, man.
That's intimidating right there.
Yeah, it just makes you think.
And I'll tell you this, listen, we said yesterday that if Mahomes wins, he's in the conversation. Like, we're going to have to start the conversations up.
If he wins
a Super Bowl. If Mahomes loses this, there's probably will never be any more conversation about him reaching GOAT status over Brady.
That's not
ever.
true.
He loses tomorrow.
Brady lost in the playoffs, too.
No. If he loses tomorrow, because the only thing that could get him in the conversation is a three-peat.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Brady lost in the playoffs, too, Paul.
No, but listen to what I'm saying. He has to three-peat to be in the conversation.
The only thing that gets him in the conversation right now
is the three-peat. So if he loses, then he won't be in the conversation ever.
I don't know about ever, but certainly right now.
You must got something in that cup now.
No, unless he's going to go on and win 7 rings.
I mean, damn.
You have to win 7 rings for the simple fact that...
like he's not getting close.
But he has to win 7 rings to be back in the conversation.
No,
if he don't win it, yes, he do.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he do.
No, he does not.
Because he lost to Brady.
He can win.
He lost to Brady in the Super Bowl.
He can win. He can win 5.
He lost to Brady in the Super Bowl.
I'm not saying that it's impossible that he doesn't.
He lost to 40-plus-year-old Brady.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow you to sit up here and say, if he don't get 7 rings, you can't have a conversation.
No, he can't.
No.
But if he gets 3 peats.
People said this about
because we can
LeBron and Michael. And LeBron is not going to reach 6 rings, and he's not going to be perfect.
Well, that's not true either. We don't know that. I'm a Laker fan, so calm down.
No, but Bron is like killing every record. He's killing every record.
That's what I'm saying. He will likely play long enough. I don't know how we got into a Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes.
Because that's y'all. Y'all always do this.
I didn't start. It's Paul.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying because we talking about the Chiefs.
And then many people will discount early Tom Brady Super Bowls, man. They will do that.
No, ain't no discount.
I'm just saying what they would do.
This would be a tough game.
This will be a huge blow to Patrick Mahomes if they lose tomorrow. He can never be in the GOAT conversation.
Pat, I hope you're listening. And if you're not listening, I'm sure it's somebody telling you.
The other AFC matchup will be the Ravens and Buffalo. The Ravens are traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. It will be, you know we love weather around here, it will be the coldest game Lamar Jackson has ever played in, with temperatures well below freezing at kickoff. For more on the freezing conditions in Buffalo, we'll throw it to Joseph Keyshawn Johnson with the weather.
Thanks a lot, Joy. Yes, the weather is a little bit cold, as you can take a look here. You got Buffalo, a little bit of snow showers coming in. Buffalo, they'll drop. The game time will start at 17. By the time you get to the second half, it's going to drop into the low 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and maybe even into the negative as you start to think about it. But both teams do play in the cold. Okay, so right now, Buffalo weather, high of 25, low of 15, with a wind chill of 10. That is cold, Paul. You don't want to do that. Thanks a lot, Joy.
Thank you. Thank you, Keyshawn. Back over to the desk. Paul, I love the music. And thank you to Fox Weather for the graphics. We always appreciate you. What do you think about playing in that kind of weather? That sucks. It's going to be really, really cold. They do both play in the cold. Baltimore is a cold weather city.
No, it's not. Buffalo. It's not. That ain't cold.
But Buffalo is
That's not cold,
a little bit
Joy,
different.
Listen, I lived in the D.C. area, and it don't get cold as it does in Buffalo, New York, Boston area. Like D.C., they deal with Baltimore deal with a little bit of snow. And they shut down the city when it snows. The school is out. These other cities, when it snows, go for a jog, still ride your bike, all of that. So Buffalo is way more accustomed to playing in these type of conditions.
So
whereas
you think the weather favors
I think it really favors Josh. I mean, if you've never played in this type of weather, and the Bills, they don't lose at home. They've been 8-0 at home. So this is a huge advantage. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a huge advantage.
Now, does it get cold in Baltimore? Yes. Is it colder in Buffalo? Absolutely.
Much colder.
But when you playing in 25 and you playing in 10, it does not matter. It feels the same when you're cold. Doesn't
Nah,
matter
single
at
digits
all.
is different, Key.
No.
Single digits is different.
Paul,
25 and 9.
Paul,
You've been out there
in an arena.
I was outside shoveling snow too.
You played in an arena.
No, listen.
And not on the field for 3.5 hours.
I went to the games.
Yeah, but you
I went to games.
You in the box. Come on, this me you talking to. You ain't standing out there. But look,
games.
I think when you start to look at it, in terms of weather, I think both could play well. I really don't think it favors either one to the degree, because they both can run the football and they both can throw it. Now, when you start talking about throwing the football, because it's Josh, because it's home, and he understands that the wind can swirl around inside the stadium, he has a better understanding of his stadium and what end is the strongest in terms of wind, all of those sort of things. He's a big, strong kid, fast, strong arm with a cannon. This is the reason that they drafted him out of Wyoming, to put him in this type of environment so he can excel. I think that part will favor him to some degree. But overall, they both are going to do wonderful things in the cold weather. I strongly believe that, although I do believe that in the end, Baltimore will win this football game. Because Baltimore, we're making it sound as though Baltimore's Florida.
No. They both play in the cold.
Yes.
It's really a wash. If I have to give it to someone, I would say Josh, just because they're at home.
Yeah.
So unless we consider, a home field advantage to be meaningless, and particularly in Buffalo, then I'm going to say that it's going to favor Josh and the Buffalo Bills. This is their home turf, so they'll be more comfortable there. But I'm kind of with you. Cold is cold. Like 32
cold is cold, I'm telling you.
Now, when you're factoring winds, when you're factoring snow or rain, that's a different type of situation. But just cold, 32 degrees or below. I mean, I'll take 32 over negative, personally myself. But when you're cold, it's cold. In 32 degrees or below in their careers, they're basically identical. Like Lamar is 3-1, Josh Allen is 12-2. Obviously, plays in more because he's in Buffalo where it's colder. But their numbers are Josh has a few more total yards per game in passing yards per game, but it's really just the same. I just
3-1 in what weather?
32 degrees or below.
Okay, what's his record at 9?
9
degrees.
9 degrees. Well, this is the coldest game he's going to have played in.
It's about to be 0-1.
Keyshawn's forecast,
it's high at 25.
Is accurate. This will be the coldest game that he's played in.
It's a high at 25, a low of 15 with a wind chill at 10. So it'll drop it'll drop a little bit. It'll drop a little bit more.
When that wind hit in the second half.
I love how we all are just.
And that kicker got to go out there and kick that 50-yard field goal for Baltimore.
Yeah, but Paul, you keep saying as if
he ain't used to playing in that.
You keep saying as if they coming out of a dome or coming from Florida or California or something. They're coming from Baltimore. It's cold in Baltimore.
It's not.
It may not be as cold as in Buffalo.
Man, let me tell you something. The difference
he was in a box.
No, I lived in D.C., bro.
It's not the same. It's not the same as
the same cold.
It's not the same as taking one of those ice things and using it on your window and moving the snow in 20 minutes. It's not the same.
It's
3.5 hours of standing out in that stuff. You've never stood out there for 3.5.
That's what I'm saying.
But they have.
But that 10 minutes. That was enough for you.
That was enough.
And they got to stand out there for 3 hours?
And that's why I can't wait to talk about LeBron James and this basketball, football stuff because,
Okay, we'll get to that.
No, I can't wait.
Who gets the win and why, though, Paul? Lamar or Josh?
I got Josh because they're a better team at home than anybody in the league. I truly believe that. They have the highest point differential in the NFL. They're a plus 133 points. And like you said, Josh is 12-2 in 33 degrees or below weather. I mean, this is all set up. Like, if this was in Baltimore, if it was just a nice day of 35, 40 degrees, I'd probably say Lamar. But when you got to junk up the game and the weather's a factor and all of these things come into play, it's advantage Josh.
I also think Buffalo wins. I think they're going to find a way in the end. And I do think that the home field advantage is being greatly overlooked when it comes to Buffalo. They've been a really good team all season long. I understand that Baltimore has the better roster. And, you know, quarterbacks to me, it's also a wash. They're both great. They both have very similar style of play. They both put up tremendous numbers, have wow moments. So they're equal. It's going from there. It's just a matter of, is Josh Allen going to be able to do what he's done all season long and carry his team, which is not as good top to bottom as Baltimore, but I believe them playing at home. They're going to get an opportunity to go to the AFC Championship game and lose to the Chiefs. But what do you think?
Well, hold on, Weatherman's Key. What is it? Was it snow in the forecast or just?
No, it's not snow in the forecast.
Okay.
No, no snow in the forecast.
All right,
Only in Philadelphia is there snow.
We'll get to that forecast a little bit later. Make sure you have all the weathers.
Weatherman Key.
Weatherman Key. Look, the Ravens are a much more well-rounded team, like you said, Joy. So it gives them an advantage and an edge. When you start talking about taking the football out of Lamar Jackson's hands, all he has to do is turn around and hand it to that dude wearing 22.
Yep.
That to me.
He's gonna be cold too. Like just let's just say
they're not going to be cold, Paul.
That's crazy.
Look, it feels like it's the Ravens' time. It just feels that way. Every single year that Lamar's been in the league as a full-time starter, we've started off the season saying this. We ended the season by saying, well, he hadn't won a game. Then he goes and he wins a playoff game the next year. Well, he hadn't gotten to the divisional round. Then he goes and he wins the divisional round. Well, he hadn't gotten to the AFC Championship game. Then he goes to the AFC Championship game. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to sit there and say, well, as you win the AFC Championship game, he has to get to the Super Bowl. He has to get to the Super Bowl. He understands that. And if you go and you think about the years that he has been in the postseason, he was coming into the season with some stuff, meaning like questioning whether or not he was going to get a contract, questioning whether or not he could throw the football, questioning not if he belonged in the elite quarterback position. All he does is goes and wins MVPs. He checks that box. He goes and he throws the ball all the way around. He checks that box. Then he wins another MVP, checks that box. He goes and wins those little division playoff games, checks that box. The only box left to check now is to get back to the AFC Championship game to see the Kansas City Chiefs, unless Kansas City loses to Houston and then they're at home in Baltimore to get to the Super Bowl. That's the only thing. And he knows that now. He's a different player mentally than he was a year ago. You can just see it in his press conferences, and he's a little more outgoing. I don't want to say outspoken, but outgoing.
He feels lighter.
He feels lighter. Yeah. And that's one of the main reasons I think that he goes into Buffalo and he takes care of business. And Buffalo hasn't had the best luck at winning playoff games at home here recently.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I honestly think all the pressure's on Buffalo. I've been saying this. Everyone keeps talking about how good Baltimore is, now they have the better roster, and that is true. But Lamar Jackson, I believe, is feeling lighter because he did go check that box. He went to the AFC Championship game last year. No, it didn't have the outcome that they wanted, but we both think that both of these teams are going to be good for some years to come. Josh Allen hasn't been to the AFC Championship game in some time. He's lost divisional games. He's lost to Kansas City before the AFC Championship game. He's lost to Cincinnati. Like, we constantly talk about how great Josh Allen is. He doesn't have those MVPs to fall back on that Lamar Jackson has. So I actually think all of the pressure is on Buffalo. I don't feel a certain type of way about either team who's going to win this. I think it's going to be a tremendous matchup, and we're lucky to be able to see this, to get this game and then get whatever the AFC Championship game is going to be is really, we're really lucky. And
it's going to be 3 Super Bowls.
Right. we're getting great matchups week after week after week.
It's like a Super Bowl right here. Buffalo, Ravens, and then whoever wins this versus Kansas City, that's like a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Then the actual Super Bowl.
AFC Championship game.
The AFC, it depends on who it is, though.
No, so this is like an AFC Championship game.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. Oh, this is.
No, I'm saying it's like.
But we're saying
like
that the matchups are spectacular, and we're lucky that we're getting great matchups week after week after week. This game is going to be really important for how we talk about both of these quarterbacks moving forward. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.